If you enjoy movies, comic books, and pop culture, be sure to like and subscribe.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the REC podcast, brought to you by REC Comics and Collectibles. I'm your host, Roman Chavez, and with me, as always,
Erik Icarus,
the Gentleman Ghost.
Yeah, baby, the Prince of the Rodeo.
Prince of the Rodeo,
bringing it back
bro.
to Bomb Dude.
There it is.
Hashtag Bomb Dude.
Dudes.
Haven't said that in a while.
You can follow us on Instagram at REC Podcast. You can follow myself at Roman REC Podcast. You can follow the shop at REC Comics, or you can come check us out locally at 7679 North Union Boulevard in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And you can follow the Bomb Dude wherever Bomb Dudes be going.
You know,
I don't even know where they go these days.
I don't either. I've been kind of doing my own thing lately, man.
Yeah.
Before we get it started, real quick,
The Nomad Bomb Dude.
Yeah, Nomad Bomb Dude, baby. Quick shout out to our boy Carter. Broke his collarbone. Speedy recovery, my dude.
Oh man, dude, how'd you do that? Is this kids?
Kendo class.
Oh, all right, fair enough. Took it to the clavicle.
I thought I got kendo and katsu confused.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, katsu sounds good.
Yeah, I could go for some curry at the moment.
Yeah,
right?
ooh.
As you can see, we are tunaless. We're running this show vegan, old school, like we do from time to time. And it's too bad because we have a lot of stuff to talk about.
We do, yeah. And he's the guy that kind of feeds us the information.
Yeah, feeds us. He's our. So I've got my handy dandy notes, and we're going to talk about the Marvels. MCU has dropped a new trailer for the next, chapter of the Marvel Universe. Mm-hmm. You shut up. And the newest iteration is the Marvels, which was going to be Captain Marvel 2. Uh-huh. Seems like there's some internet squabble about whether that was a decision that what's her name?
Brie Larson.
Brie Larson, thank you.
Yeah.
That Brie Larson, was a part of.
Mm-hmm. Which I don't understand, because that movie made money. It made like $1 billion. I don't understand why it wouldn't just go full-on sequel with Captain Marvel 2.
It wouldn't shock me if either these scenarios, they're afraid that the internet backlash is real, which it's some, but it's not. It's always the vocal majority. Eric, I don't know if you hate the movie.
I don't hate it.
Don't like it as much as we talked about it in our first episode. Go check that out if you want to see some rough stuff in the kitchen. Actually, it's just audio.
It's just audio back in the day. And, I would go listen to it, and then you can see how far we've gone. We were talking so low
and so quiet.
Calm and
dulcet tones. We were really trying to put you in the mood for the Bomb Dude.
Yeah.
All right.
But so you do think it's real internet
So
based.
either that, or they're afraid that either Kamala Khan and Monica Rambeau are not strong enough to carry their own things. So it's just kind of like we got the potatoes with Brie Larson.
Right.
That's the staple, and then these are some spices that don't really stand well.
I think it's a little column A, column B. Honestly, I think there is a little bit of backlash with Brie Larson. Not enough to warrant her not being able to carry the movie. So maybe you're right. Maybe it's a good way to introduce these other characters.
There's a lot of my customers who do not like the Brie Larson Captain Marvel stuff. I argue for the pros because I find it to be just a fun movie. It does appeal to a different audience. My daughters love it. Man,
what's supposed to be the female Superman?
And none of these people are talking about. They're not reading the Captain Marvel comic anyway, so it's not like it's not like they're contributing to that cause.
Right.
So yes, they contribute to box office, but it's doing work. Yeah, it's doing work. Oh yeah, they're doing a great. Versus the Brood story.
Okay, that's pretty sick.
Revenge of the Brood. Yeah, it's actually really good.
Okay.
Fan of the show, Joe Bro.
Oh, I know Joe Bro.
He enjoys that book.
The only thing I hated about the movie iteration was the comic book iteration of Captain Marvel. She's got a lot of batter in that cake.
A lot of chutzpah.
Yeah, got a big old badonkadunk, which I do enjoy.
Yes.
And Brie Larson not bringing it in the badonkadunk.
Yeah.
She's gorgeous.
She's beautiful.
Very beautiful. Just saying.
That's neither here nor there. We could actually talk about the trailer.
The Marvels.
Yes, the Marvels.
I want to talk about her butt more, though.
Dude, I find I think it's a cool change of pace and just being when we saw it, like Iron Man 2 is Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
It's Iron Man 3, but we got Captain America, the Winter Soldier, Captain America, Civil War. So like this again feels very comic booky to me. This is the mini crossover since we're not having an Avengers movie. Because it does look the going thing is they're going to be a team whether they want to be or not.
Right, that's the feeling I'm getting. It opens up with Monica outside the space station. We get Fury, which begs the question, getting a little divergent here. Does this take place before or after Secret War? We'll diverge into that later.
Yeah, let's get to that.
Just throwing that out there. But so Monica taps something. She goes, energy blast sends her back.
Yeah.
And she goes, ah, and then she's fine.
Yeah, and she's good.
But it disperses.
It looks like we're gonna follow somewhat at the end of Miss Marvel, the show. Her bangle is like part of a set,
right?
And it's implied that Captain Marvel touches the bangle or puts it on the other one elsewhere, and they switch spots.
Oh, like Freaky Friday.
It's like Freaky Friday, guys. And we have them trying to figure out, okay, where is Kamala? They got to bring in Fury. Fury. Is this Talos? Is this?
That was my next question. You think this is Talos?
I think it's got to be Talos, but I'm not entirely sure because in the Secret Invasion trailer, we are seeing that they're kind of seems like they're more displaying the real Nick Fury as patchless and Talos as being with the patch. That's what I'm thinking.
That makes more sense.
It helps us out.
It does.
Helps us out.
Yeah.
Maybe they can make the Talos one a little beefier, like he's trying to, he's trying to keep up appearances.
Right. Trying to look more healthy.
Yes.
Virile.
So we're getting a Nick Fury appearance. There's not much on the plot.
Right.
It is just a teaser. It was like a minute, 20 seconds, something like that.
Karen did a lot though.
We did see what
looks beautiful,
which made it actually.
CG looks
good.
No sarcasm.
CG looks good.
Really good.
This is the first trailer that didn't in a long time that didn't feel like we were totally on a soundstage.
For reals, yeah, it looked great.
Yes.
And I will say that we do get Flurkins.
We get Flurkins.
Yeah, Goose is back, baby.
Our boy Goose is back with a vengeance.
Yes.
Which is cool because it's modern times, so Goose is like at least 20-something years old.
Right.
So,
how long do Flurkins live?
I assume they're gonna live for.
Well,
for a long time.
my dear sweet Moxie turned 19 last month.
Oh my gosh!
So my
how
cat
long do cats live?
They're only supposed to live about 12.
Yeah.
And Moxie's so spry and jumping around. So
that's insane.
Moxie's just a Flurkin. That's why.
We did see what looked like it was a female accuser.
Mm-hmm.
We saw a female with a Ronin-style hammer.
Right.
It could or could not have been just somebody picking it up.
Mm-hmm.
Or we do have a few different versions. I did see on the interwebs that it might be Dar Ben, which I don't think she's actually an accuser. She's a Kree general.
Okay.
So, we'll
So get my little
goes.
Kree crossover that I was talking about.
We're going to get Kree stuff.
I'm okay with it.
But I felt like initially we were going to get some of that.
Way more, yeah.
20, that time she's gone from when she meets Fury.
Right.
She clearly is going to go fight Ronin at some point. At least that's how they've made it feel.
That's what I was getting too.
Get Ronin the Accuser back for one more round.
Sure.
Let him cut loose against one person. Could be really fun.
I think it'd be pretty awesome.
But we'll see, because this looks like it's going to take place now.
And we're going to talk about the soundtrack they used, Intergalactic from the Beastie Boys,
there
which I thought, initially I was like, but then as the music ramped up, you know what?
It worked well.
It worked really good.
It worked really well with it.
It sets the tone of the movie.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of sending up those fun summer vibes, even though it comes out in November.
I think so.
Something like that.
But we also, we've seen that Monica definitely seems to have an issue with Captain Marvel.
Well, I don't blame her.
I would see her, you weren't there when Mom died, and that. You were just out in space. You never really came back. And I believe it said that their kind of space station was saber and not sword.
Sabre?
Sabre and not sword. And not sword.
Sword.
Although it does look like the sword you got me. It does look like the sword installation, which kind of kills that astonishing X-Men 6 value a bit. I don't know why.
Why are you doing that? Why are you doing this like that? It should be.
But it can, again, the MCU is its own thing.
Okay.
And it looks like it, but this is just the MCU's version of sword with sabre.
Okay, sabre,
yeah. Not sure what it's going to be about, but there's going to be a lot of good tensions in there. Obviously, Miss Marvel being a super fan of Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
The tension then between Monica and what's, for all intents and purposes, your aunt.
Sure.
It's going to be very interesting. And you got to imagine that Fury stayed close with the Rambos, so she's probably got a good, I know, it's weird.
I love it.
She's got a good relationship with Nick Fury.
Yeah.
We know her mom started Sword, because they did talk about Sword.
They did.
So, is there Sword and Saber? I don't know.
Well, maybe the Sword is the name of the group, and then Saber's the name of the space station.
All right, Eric.
I guess we'll go with
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Maybe we'll go with that. I don't know. For those of you who don't know, I am a huge Monica Rambeau fan. Photon, I love the character.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to see.
She was great in WandaVision.
She was awesome.
And I love
That's what I'm saying.
I love the fact we get her in WandaVision,
Yeah.
which doesn't feel space at all.
No.
And now we're, it's
It
cool.
grounds the character.
Feels like comics.
Yes. So
Feels like comics.
this could be what the MCU needs.
It does.
This could be the jump back into full-on great storytelling,
And
which
I
has
would-
been lacking a little bit.
I would love if it would be by an all-female forward
Hell
cast
yeah,
too.
dude.
Just
I'm good
something
with
it's
this,
got to
man.
go through. It's
Yeah.
got to go through its gauntlet of internet nerds. But
Sure. Yeah,
the
even
first
so,
trailer.
so,
This
yeah.
was a good teaser. This was a
Yeah,
good
dude.
teaser.
I haven't been excited like this in a minute
Yeah.
for an MCU property. Regardless of the female forward thing, I think the characters are just cool.
Yeah.
That's always very secondary to me. So
Yeah.
I think it's just gonna. But the fact that it is like that little icing.
Yeah,
I'm very excited.
We're gonna
about
get the
that.
young. We're gonna get the kind of 30 something.
Right.
And then technically Carol's like
It's
50 now.
Gotta be.
So I mean,
yeah.
we're gonna cross a whole realm of spectrums there. I think it's gonna
Yeah.
be really fun, and I'm excited. For it.
Heck yes.
Across the pond,
Mm-hmm.
we traders, many of us went and checked out. They had a Star Wars Celebration in the UK.
Crikey! Wait, that's Australian.
Yeah, that's Eric only can do Australian accents.
Showing your shoes,
Yeah.
governor. Is that better?
I mean, kind of. The governor helps.
Governor.
The governor.
Governor.
And Celebration is the Comic-Con of Star Wars. Last year was in California. Shout out to customer Melanie who went, and she said she had a blast.
Sweet, man.
I didn't even know it was going to be in the UK until the news started coming out. And there was news aplenty.
Ooh.
The biggest, I'm going to try to put this out, probably the biggest announcement is the fact they announced a new trilogy.
Okay.
Okay, they announced that they're going to be doing a new trilogy of films
Right.
that is going to follow Rey still.
Okay.
It's going to take place roughly 15,
Not
20
liking
years.
this so far.
But I've got some things that'll help you. Okay. So it's going to follow Rey. It sounds like it's going to be somewhat her having established a new Jedi Academy.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, where is that 15 years? I want that. Star Wars always does this.
They always do it.
And then a trilogy spinning, with that being the first one. Daisy Ridley will be back.
Okay, great.
But we know Dave Filoni, James Mangold, and somebody I'm not familiar with, Charmin Obaid Chinway. I apologize. They're going to be the three directors set up.
Okay.
And Filoni, for Eric, who isn't as Star Wars heavy as I am, big fan. Clone Wars.
Okay.
Did a lot of those animated things. Did a comic book. Is the creator Ahsoka Tano.
Okay.
There's a lot of things that this guy, and he's been doing a lot of the
Right.
Star Wars TV
Okay.
with Favs.
Okay.
They're kind
Ooh.
of the 1-2 punch here under
okay.
Kathleen Kennedy, which
Okay.
a lot of people think is an issue that they should be running the Star Wars universe. But we know that we are getting back in good Star Wars hands.
Okay.
Not to say that J.J. Abrams' hands weren't good Star Wars hands,
It
but
had a good start.
had a decent start because they just played the oldies. Played
Yeah,
the
well,
hits.
they did, but then they played it very not well.
Yeah.
I love the oldies, but when you turn it into some kind of grindcore EMD BS, I don't want to hear it.
That's fair. That's fair. So we have some Star Wars blood in there. I've said it numerous times. I'm fine carrying on the Rey story, but we really we got to get rid of the Skywalkers, Palpatines. We got to get. I know she's both, but
it's done.
But we're done. I want to see I want to see the Jedi flourish. They just we've only ever seen them at the ends of their reigns,
Right.
outside of a couple extended universe things.
I want to see the
actual
the rise of a Skywalker and the Jedi. They've been lying dormant for how long?
I mean, scattered to the wind. We know that the Empire remnants in the Mando extension of the universe,
right?
That they were, hunting. We know that they were hunting anybody Force sensitive and killing them and this and that. So, and then trying to harvest them to, I think, create. We haven't really unveiled that yet, but create people who are Force sensitive, thinking they can inject Grogu's blood into somebody and they could,
because that's how that works. Well, I guess what do they call Thetans?
No, that's
Scientology.
That's Scientology. Midichlorians.
Midichlorians. Okay,
Yes.
fair enough.
Midichlorians have been the bane of the Star Wars existence since Episode 1, because there was no mention of this in anything else, and they are living organisms that live in all living things that allow us to communicate.
Which, yeah,
with the Force.
it is probably the worst thing that George Lucas ever did. Because just taking away from the fact that it's something that's obtainable to everybody.
Well, yeah, and I think that they kind of like, everybody's got a little, but the Jedi and the Sith, they have a bunch.
Yeah, well, yeah. It takes away from it.
I know.
For me.
Yeah.
But if they can spin this lore into something else.
Sounds, it's dark. It sounds like that's what that they're trying to do something at least interesting with it.
Yes. Thank you.
And at the very least tells us why it can't happen. And it kind of fixes your thing.
Yes.
So, yeah, because then that makes sense that then... Yeah, I could just shoot up midichlorians.
Yeah, you can't shoot the Rock's blood into me.
No, you can't.
And I'm not going to...
It may be toxic waste at this point. It's probably green, all right? He's
predator blood?
Dude, he has predator blood. Kathleen Kennedy did make hints, because initially when Disney got the rights, they had really kind of said, hey, Extended Universe is no longer canon, and that upset the Extended Universe people, the EU people like myself, who really appreciate that far more than just the Prime trilogies.
That's not okay. She should make like a Kennedy and die.
Oh my gosh, that's too much. It's too hot for this type of show,
Sorry,
bro.
my bad. Had to be said though.
But she did make references that they do want to at least do things either Old Republic or Old Republic adjacent. That's a big continuity timeline in which it's hundreds of years before A New Hope.
Oh,
so we've got.
So all those things were pre Star Wars.
Yes, there was an Old Republic.
I'm kind of
okay, and that's what you're here for, baby. So Knights of the Old Republic was a video game and later a comic book series that really established new characters: Darth Revan, Darth Malak. More dark side of the Force, more Jedi, more Sith. And again, another fall of the Jedi, but it's set in a very interesting time. And it's been clamored for to get live action representation of these.
From what I've seen, I've loved all that stuff. I wasn't aware of that though. I always thought it kind of was like maybe like a 30-year span or something.
No, it's it's at least 100 years.
Jesus,
it's a long time before.
Okay.
Like when we get to the fall at Coruscant, we had a long established Jedi culture. It's just those Sith, those wily Sith, They're always out there doing what they do. Darth Bane, these characters. So we have a whole other universe that, as much as I'm done with the Skywalkers, we haven't really had. The comics were great. Knights of the Old Republic comics were great.
Oh yeah,
but the live action would be fantastic.
That would be great. Maybe for the things we're getting into, from what they're alluding to, we might be getting that.
Yes.
Especially the trailer we watched.
There's so much money to be made.
God, yeah.
So much. The fact that they haven't done a remastered anniversary KOTOR video game is beyond me.
Right.
It's completely beyond me.
Yeah.
And with this extended universe stuff, we got Easter eggs in Mandalorian Season 2 when we see Ahsoka Tano, played by Rosario Dawson. She's looking for Grand Admiral Thrawn. Grand Admiral Thrawn was this brainchild of Timothy Zahn, who really... George Lucas never... It was kind of implied that George Lucas, if he didn't write it, he didn't, or come up with it, he didn't want to see it on screen. Oh. But the Thrawn trilogy of books is something that's heavily... read and has been adapted into comic books, and we get the origins and Heir to the Empire is his big story, because
keep that in
Palpatine dies, and then Grand Admiral Thrawn's like the next scariest dude left.
Right.
But he had a big run in Rebels, the cartoon, which did feature Ahsoka Tano.
Right.
Other Star Wars fan favorites, which... Ahsoka trailer. We get that, it's obviously been alluded to. She's had several appearances in Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett, but her show is coming out, I believe, this fall, and it's going to follow her hunt for Grand Admiral Thrawn. She was looking
what's her beef?
She don't like
kill one of her relatives, and she's like a Cain Velasquez on a hunt here.
Well, the Rebels is in the series, which is 7 seasons.
Jesus,
is in the aftermath of the original trilogy, and we get to see just more of that world outside of just X-wing fighters and whatnot. We follow Sabine Wren and a laundry list of characters that I don't remember all of their names.
It's a lot of writing.
But Hera, who is going to be played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who is, I believe, romantically involved still with Ewan McGregor. So more Star Wars in that bedroom. I don't know where I was going with that. But we did see her in the Ahsoka trailer as Hera. I believe they're called Twi'leks. But they have the long...
the thingies.
Yeah, and she's green. And I'm excited about that. But Grand Admiral Thrawn has been cast. We saw him from the backside.
The right side.
The right side. And I think people wanted this, but we weren't sure we were going to get it because it was often rumored that Robert Downey Jr. was going to be Admiral Thrawn, and he looks like him.
I've heard things, but probably not going to happen.
But Lars Milkison, who voiced him in the Rebels show.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Did you watch Sherlock at all?
Yes.
He was in either season 2 or season 3 as Charles Augustus Magnuson, the guy with the glasses.
Oh!
It's that actor. So he's got a very strong... presence.
Yes.
He's got a great voice, and he was the voice of Grand Admiral Thrawn in the show.
That's kind of cool.
I thought he might be too old, but
kind of like the Paul Bettany doing Vision.
Hey man, good
it
for
works,
him. It's nice to see these guys. I know people were bummed when the voice actress for Ahsoka Tano wasn't cast, but let's be real, Rosario Dawson really does look like a grown-up version of Ahsoka Tano.
And she's one of my dream girls.
She's a fox, and
she's just cool.
So now getting to see, having Thrawn in live action is huge. These books are old. They're from at least the 90s. The comics are from the Dark Horse series is from the 90s.
Jesus.
And, this is stuff that the fans have been clamoring for. And,
yeah, dude.
To get him in Rebels was crazy.
Right.
But to now get a live action movie, which is, because Filoni was the head of that stuff, this stuff is going to kind of tie off some of those loose ends.
That's good.
Some of those guys died in continuity, so we'll see what they do to make it work.
Sure.
But I can tell you, as a guy who just really likes Star Wars, the guys who love Star Wars are super excited.
Good. Well, that's a good barometer.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Yes. There was talk of Andor Season 2, which I still haven't watched Season 1 yet. I need to get on that. I loved Rogue One, so I'd like to see more of that work. It's just, again, my problem with Star Wars is always... we know Rogue One, we know Cassian Andor dies. We know all of these people die.
Yeah, so why do we really need their backstory?
But I hear it's great. And from a storytelling standpoint, it's supposed to be very, very strong.
I'm good with it. If it's, telling a good story.
They announced Alkalite is going to be in 2024. The Alkalite seems like it's going to be having ties to Star Wars The High Republic.
What's the Alkalite?
The Alkalite is a new series coming out from Disney Plus. We have talked about it briefly, but there's been no footage.
Is there an Alkalite trio I could get into?
Yeah, you probably could. But we do know that there was a member of the High Republic series cast in there. Mm-hmm. So those books, that's the first Star Wars original canon that they've produced is the High Republic.
Oh, okay.
It's there for there are OTC trailer or characters, but there are new Jedi, new Sith. So we do have, and that's the first thing really made under the Star Wars banner.
Okay.
So I would imagine we're going to go further with that. But again, it does take place in somewhat of the past because Yoda's in it, but a younger Yoda, not like young, but like pre
white hair,
prequels.
Okay, prequels.
So maybe like 50 years, something like that. I don't know the exact.
Wow,
thing.
this is a lot, man.
I know.
I'm with it though.
But it sets up a lot. Kathleen Kennedy did say that a lot of the new projects are already into full production. At some point, we don't know which ones. Okay. But they did. It's so much. There was so much more announced in the animation department. Bad Batch third and final season.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there was continuations of other things. People asked Dave Filoni if his Star Wars movie is going to be the kind of the culmination of his Mandalorian, and there was a quote being that it could be the next logical step. Who knows? Because we know Taika Waititi is still doing a Star Wars project.
That's right.
And that was spoken about, that it will be, that is still on. Mm-hmm. So outside of this trilogy, we also have a Star Wars story somewhere else.
Okay, yeah.
As somebody who's down for the movies, but doesn't follow the extended universe extensively, I know you're one of those guys who wants to move on too, but to be given the ability to kind of close off some of these things, are you excited about these things that you're not?
Now that you're putting it at this point, yes. I think I think it's like just from like my ancillary kind of view of Star Wars.
Yeah.
I think
More
this,
saga, less extended universe.
I think this is going to be more, like you said, giving us good stories and good endings to stories,
Yeah.
so we can move on.
Yes.
Closure is very important. So I think this is great.
Whatever anybody says, I know there was a lot of negativity for Book of Boba Fett. While I do see the where it's warranted, because I want to know the Boba Fett story before the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah.
I want to see that stuff. This is kind
I
of
thought that's what we were gonna get.
and that's what a lot of people thought. Book of Boba Fett was this redemption tale and making him this benevolent gangster, which I liked, but I understand why people don't.
Yeah. We had too many of these stories.
As far as I'm concerned, this extended Star Wars universe on Disney Plus has redeemed Hayden Christensen, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ewan McGregor. Even though we liked some of those things, dude, I rewatched the prequels recently, and then Obi-Wan, and man, the Anakin Skywalker story bums me out, man. I feel bad for him. It's just told poorly. But the character of Anakin Skywalker,
it's tragic.
Having that last fight with him and Obi-Wan and kind of helping Obi-Wan kind of absolve himself of any type of I could have done better.
Right.
But it's just that the jumps, which does get filled out more in Clone Wars as a comic and as a cartoon.
Yes.
Because while we're all excited about this Ahsoka stuff, Ahsoka was Anakin's Padawan.
Yeah.
So this
not a lot of people forget that, but it's true.
The people who only know Saga don't know that.
They don't know. Yeah, you're right.
So that is a big deal. Like, this chick has so much knowledge, and that's an extension of the Anakin storyline. And in my lifetime, give me reboots. I want to see that story treated well and
not with George Lucas's fingerprints all over it.
Yeah,
his
man.
Cheeto-laden fingerprints.
Because from where we leave at Attack of the Clones to him killing younglings, there's a disconnect. It doesn't make sense because, and what we saw in Obi-Wan when Reva's like, we thought Master Skywalker was there to save us. I mean,
see, there's some
Jedi
good
Knight
nuggets
Skywalker
there,
was there to save us.
Yeah.
So it's a great story arc. It's just told poorly for a bunch of it, but I gotta say that Obi-Wan really redeems.
No, for sure. I'm with you on that.
Totally.
There's things to be fixed. There's more stories to tell, and I'm with you. I think this should be the last run as far as the past with Star Wars. We tie up loose ends and then we go forward.
Yeah, but I still want my Darth Maul live action story.
Sure.
The Visionary storyline is so well done. We get a lot of it in Rebels, and I think we get some in Bounty Hunters. I can't remember, but you can't use Ray Park anymore. I think he's too. But you can use him old.
You can why not? He's aged.
I mean,
he can't do the flippy stuff anymore. But he's still maybe
give him a shot.
You're right.
Give him a shot. They redeemed Jar Jar Binks actor Ahmed Best.
They did.
They redeemed. They gave Boba Fett some more legs to stand on, and
that's what Darth Maul needs.
Is there something that has bothered you about Star Wars that you would like them to address? That hasn't been addressed for you? Do you have anything like that?
I'd like to know why they built the Death Star twice with the same hole in it.
Well, we get that in Andor.
We do?
Yes.
Okay.
Or not in Andor, in Rogue One.
Okay.
Mads Mikkelsen's character, what's her face's dad, I can't remember.
Yeah.
They want to bring him and his family because he's a genius at creating weapons.
Okay.
And they kill his wife, and then the daughter gets away, and they're like, hey, we're going to find her. So he's like, yeah, I worked for them, I did it, but I put this flaw in there.
Okay, so he did it. Okay.
Yes, they do that, which some people hated, but I think it's fine.
Well, I think the first time it would have been okay. But
the second time,
it's like, come on!
But they don't know that the flaw was built into it.
Oh, okay.
Because he built it in, and you could only, it was known as Stardust, because that's what he called his daughter. Oh, okay. So they don't understand what Stardust means in there. Oh. And she's able to find and exploit to get the plan.
Sure.
I mean, they totally, I think they say that, that Banthans or something died to get her this, and that just totally none of those species are in Rogue One, and whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
It is what it is.
No, not a lot of representation there.
You get that last minute and a half of Darth Vader.
That makes everything okay.
And I mean, up until that point, that was the best Darth Vader thing we had ever seen.
That's very true.
So
to that point,
redemption.
Yeah. Oh, and I think that's what the mythos of Star Wars is.
Yes.
It is the very act of redemption.
Yeah.
Even because Darth Vader at the very end. He gets his redemption, George Lucas, don't think it's time for his redemption. I don't think he'll get it. I don't think he'll get it.
And he doesn't need redemption. He, at the very least, he's the brainchild that a lot of people remixed. It's like those founders of jazz and blues. Other people made it what it is, but he is the godfather. And while I don't like everything that he's put out, we don't have it without him.
Yeah, it's true. No, you're right. Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah, no, he deserves his place on.
He deserves all of the love and all the hate. Yeah. So I do like polarizing people.
Yeah, so. Look, man, he's Moses, and Filoni and Favs might be Jesus. I don't know. All right, it's like all that stuff works, but. Check out this new
the razzle dazzle
the razzle dazzle New Testament.
Yes. What was the name of his movie? Favs, the one he did the big budget after he did Made Zathura.
Might have been Zathura.
Okay, fair enough.
Might have been Zathura.
Okay, I didn't see it.
I didn't see it either. Actually, I was just like, Space Jumanji. I'm good.
Yeah.
Kids, that's our show. If you like what we're doing, please hit that subscribe button. Let us know what you think below. I was caught off guard by some of the Star Wars news. Were you? There's tons more out there. Definitely go out and check it out. But let us know what you think below. Hit the subscribe button. Eric, do you have any final thoughts?
Yes. You know what? We like Bud Light here. Bud Light drinkers. Kid Rock, Travis Tritt, go after yourselves.
Well, I mean, I don't like. I like a fine beer, okay, or a nice cider for my belly. Right, kids?
I'm down with cider.
Yeah,
bring on the cider, baby.
Everybody drink what you drink. Maybe we'll get some
Just
of that.
don't be a jerk about it.
And we'll get some blue milk next time we're in a cantina. All right.
Oh,
kids?
yes.
Thank you for watching.
Woo!
Thank you for listening. I've been your host, Roman Chavez.
I'm still Erik Icarus.
And we will catch you on the next podcast.